climatic region to tell the name of it. So that's why we are talking about temperature, then we are talking about rainfall, and we describe the nature being hot and dry. The third one, the annual temperature received in semi-desert climatic region should be between 400 millimeters to 600 millimeters. So we are going to say that the annual rainfall received is between 400 millimeters to 600 millimeters. Remember that rainfall is measured in millimeters and temperatures are measured in degrees Celsius. So if they ask you, like here where they are saying temperature range, and they are asking you to give or to calculate the temperature range of that region, and then you get the highest minus lowest, and then you come up with the answer, which is 12, and then you say 12, the temperature range is 12, minus putting degrees Celsius, then you will have your answer wrong, yet the figure is right. So units are very important. In social studies, very important. Even in mathematics, very important. In science, very important. So the issue of units should not be compromised. You should actually not forget units when you're dealing with calculations of any kind. So for the rainfall, the units are millimeters. For the temperatures, the units are degrees Celsius. Then, the other characteristic, we said that this type of climate experience low humidity. It experiences low humidity. And we said that humidity is, who can still remember what we talked about humidity? If you met a question saying, what is humidity? Who can tell me the answer? If you're there, you can either tell me whom you're looking at the screen, or you can tell someone you're seated with. But I remember that we said that humidity is the amount of water vapor in the atmosphere. So when we are looking in the atmosphere, the space between the land and up to what we call the sky, that space, the amount of water vapor that occupies that space is what we call humidity. So semi-desert climate experience low humidity. Lastly, that I'm going to talk about is that semi-desert climate experience cloudless skies. So it has less cloud cover. It has less cloud cover. And these are the characteristics that we talked about in the previous lesson. Now that we have these characteristics, we are going to use them to determine the type of climate that is represented on the graph and the table that I have. I'm going to put my chart on the board, and then before I even ask any question, you should have identified some of these characteristics on the chart. But we shall go through together and then see whether we can identify some of these characteristics. I'm putting my chart here. My chart is a twin chart. It has a climatic table. It also has a climatic graph. I will first deal with the climatic table, and then later I will come to talk about the climatic graph, but normally the climatic graph represents what has been given in the climatic table. So I'm going to begin with the climatic table. When you look at this climatic table, it has no title, and that is how you're going to find it in an exam, if it happens to come. In an exam, they are just going to write an instruction, which the instruction may be study the climatic table below and answer the questions that follow. they will draw something like this. And below it, they set so many questions. They may set like 4 questions. They may set like 5. They may set like 3 or 2, depending on which exam you're doing. If you're doing a formal exam, then they set 4 questions about it. Because you remember that a section B number in SST carries 4 marks. And each mark counts 1. So you find that you have 15 numbers in section B. You have 10 social studies number, and each of those 10 carries 4 marks. So you will have your table like this. The first row, you have month. And when we talk of month, we are looking at months that are found in the year. And how many months are found in a year? That is a P2 number. How many months make up a year? If you have said 10, you're wrong. If you've said 2, you're not correct. If you've said 3, maybe you're remembering the month where you celebrate your birthday. But a year takes 12 months. And on our table, these letters that you're seeing written here represent month. So when we say J, J represents January. When we see F, F represents February. When we see M, M represents March. When we see A, A represents April. Then the next M, May. The first J, June. With the following one, July. When we move to the next A, August. S, September. O, October. N, November. D, December. Don't think that these are music write-ups. No. Each letter represents a month. When you come to the second row, we have the word term. It's a short. I have shortened it because the whole word cannot fit in my box. So term, in that case, I'm meaning temperature. And they are putting units here that they are degrees Celsius. You may also find that they don't have this word in the paper that you're going to do, but they are units only. So when this word is not there, but you realize there is this degrees Celsius, know that it is temperature. When you realize that the word rainfall has not been written anywhere, but there is mm, that means that they are meaning millimeters that are standard units for measuring rainfall. Let's go through and we see. When we look at temperatures in this second row, we are looking at January having 24 degrees Celsius, February having 25 degrees Celsius, March having 28 degrees Celsius, April having 32 degrees Celsius, May having 34 degrees Celsius, June having 39 degrees Celsius, July having 37 degrees Celsius, August having 38 degrees Celsius, September having 39 degrees Celsius, October 34 degrees Celsius, November 30 degrees Celsius, and finally December having 28 degrees Celsius. You need to study this table carefully before you start answering, because there are some questions that they are going to ask that need you to just observe these figures and tell. Most questions that follow these climatic table and graphs are always simple. When we come to rainfall, you will realize that in January, rainfall was 132 millimeters recorded. Feb, 90 millimeters. March, 110 millimeters. April, rainfall reduced to 28 millimeters. May, it reduced from 28 to 5 millimeters. June, it reduced from 5 to 2 millimeters. July, it reduced to totally nothing. So that means that in that month where we have 0, that area never received rainfall. When we look at August, it also never received rainfall. When we look at September, very little rainfall, 2 millimeters were received. We look at October, still the rainfall is very low, 6 millimeters received. November, 32 millimeters were received. December, November 23 millimeters, then December 81 millimeters. Now, if question number A, if they set a question here and they said, A, name the type of climate, name the type of climate shown on the table, shown in the table above. Above. What type of climate would you call that? What type of climate is that? You have already seen that the temperatures are between 24 to 39. They rise from 24 to 39. The highest amount of temperatures that were recorded in that year and in that region were 39. And the lowest amount of temperatures recorded were 24. We come back to our characteristics. You're now you're reflecting in your mind the characteristics. You're remembering, you're memorizing, you're trying to recall the characteristics. And you're like, in Equatorial, the temperature range is between 4 to 7. Is it this? When I get the highest minus lowest, do I get a figure between 4 to 7? No. In tropical, the temperature range is between 7 to 12. When I get the highest minus the lowest, will I get a figure between 7 to 12? Let's see. 39 minus 24. No. Now let me move to another type of climate. In semi-desert, the temperature range is between 12 to 18. Now, let me check from temperature. 12 to 18. When you get 39, let's do it quickly here. You get 39 degrees Celsius minus 24 degrees Celsius. What are we going to get? 9 minus 4, you get 5. 3 minus 2, you get 1. That means that we are getting 15 degrees Celsius. We get it now. Because you have already known that in semi-desert climate, the temperature range is between 12 to 18. Now the figure that you've got is 15, which means that this qualifies to be semi-desert climate. But that should not be the only factor to rule it out that it is semi-desert. You should also consider the other aspect of rainfall. Now let's go to rainfall and see. Does this area receive a lot of rainfall? Let's compare it with other climatic regions. When we were talking about equatorial, we said that equatorial climatic region receives rainfall that amounts from 1,000 millimeters to 1,500 or even above. Now, if we look at this, actually it is between 1,500 millimeters and above. When we add the amount of rainfall received in January, Feb, March, April, May, June, up to December, do we get 1,500 millimeters all above? No. Let's carry out a simple calculation. 132 plus 90, we get 222. Then you add 110, you get 332. Then you get 28. Then you add 2. I think we cannot even get 1,000. So you say that one is not equatorial. You move to the next climatic region, or you're using the aspect of rainfall. Tropical is between 1,000 to 1,500 millimeters. If we add all these, do we even come to 1,000? We already saw that we don't even make 1,000. You drop that. We now come to semi-desert. Semi-desert, the teacher of social studies, Mr. Ninsimayowel, told us that the amount of rainfall received in semi-desert climatic region is between 400 millimeters to 600 millimeters. let's add. We need to see whether it is semi-desert. 132 plus 90 plus, I think we can do it from here. 132 plus 90 plus 110 plus 28 plus 5 plus 2. Here we don't have anything. Plus 2 plus 6 plus 23, and finally we add 81. And these are millimeters. We are trying to find out. When you get 132 plus 90, you will get 222. You get 132 plus 90, get 222. Yeah, I think it's right. Then when you get 110 plus 28, you will get 138. Okay? Now, when you get 5 plus 4, you will get 9. 5 plus 4, you get 9. Then 9 plus 6, you get 15. So here we are adding 15. Okay? We are left with these two. 23 plus 81. Here you get 3 plus 1, you get 4. We write 4. Then you get 2 plus 8, you get 10. Now let's add these. When you get 223 plus 138, let's do it here as a side work. 222 plus 138. Here we get a 0. Because we have 10, we write a 0. We bring 1 here. 3 plus 3, we get 6. Then 2 plus 1, we get 4. So we have 460. When you get 104 plus 15, you will get 119. Finally, when we get 460 plus 119, we can do it here for those who cannot add in that style. We can have it here, 119. So we have 9 here, we have 7, then here we have 5. So we shall end up having 579 millimeters. Does it fit within the range of semi-desert climate? We said that semi-desert climate, the annual rainfall received is between 400 millimeters to 600 millimeters. And our figure is 579 millimeters, meaning that the temperature proved us that it is semi-desert, and rainfall has also proven to us that it is semi-desert climate. You come here and answer your question, and you write semi-desert climate. Now someone is asking me, teacher, where do you get all that time to do that? The paper is given 2 hours and 15 minutes. The time is provided within the stated time given on the paper. Sometimes SST, you find that children have written the paper for about 1 hour. All 1 hour and 30 minutes. And the rest of the hour they are sleeping. You should always avoid that. Take your time to answer all questions that are given. There is time that is always provided for such calculations, and you don't always need to rush to write an answer without evidence.